The other thing I watched was Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh yeah.
I did not. I had a friend who bought this, so I did not have to. Um,
What a freeloader.
I know.
Just kidding. I love you, bro.
I know. I don't know. Are you guys still wanting to watch it?
I don't want to pay for it unless I'm sitting in a theater. I'll see it in a theater.
I think I'll watch it at some point.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a brief kind of impressions, not a real deep review here. No spoilers. I think that it is kind of the upper middle range of Disney animated movies. It learns a lot from films like Moana and does a lot of those things right, but it takes some lessons from of its Disney's weaker films, I think, and does those things wrong. Especially in the middle act. I think the middle act is bogged down with too many side characters and doing their own little gimmicks. I think that feels like it's geared more for the younger audience. But for me, it kind of felt like just this checklist of we have to have this kind of character, we have this kind of character, we have to have the comic relief and yada yada yada. That said, Kelly Marie Tran, fantastic as Raya. I think the first act and the third act are really good. The first act does a really good job of kind of setting up the world. I think the world is really interesting. And the third act has a pretty satisfying conclusion and a very hopeful message for kind of where we are right now in the world. I think some people will look at that as maybe a bit too idealistic, but I think that there's certainly a lesson there that we can take and apply to our lives. Awkwafina, she voices the dragon, and the dragon comes in fairly early. This is not and it was in the trailers and whatnot. I kind of thought maybe this is one of those quests for the dragon, and the first two acts are the quest. No, the quest is the first act essentially. Okay. And then from there on out, there's a new quest. Mm-hmm. There's a new quest that they go on. I think Awkwafina is fine, especially when she's doing the emotional scenes. But it kind of feels like they just let her do her thing. And if you've seen any of Awkwafina's stuff, she just kind of has that like comedic, just kind of go everywhere, bounce around, freestyle, improv thing. I don't think that works as well when she's just allowed to do that. Or I say allowed, but written to do that. Because it feels like the role, those words were very much either written for her or they were just like, hey, throw in some stuff. But when it comes to her and Raya's like emotional connection, I think it's really good stuff there. And then great animation, beautiful cinematography. I think this is probably the best looking Disney film that I've seen. It doesn't go the direction of like Pixar with its, we've all seen Toy Story 4 and how like
the photorealism
god tier that is with some of its stuff. It's not there, but it doesn't try to be. It's still very much it's a Disney animated film. But they've really worked on facial animation. They really play with things like, hey, we're not just painting on a page. We're like, what lens do we want in this scene? So you get really good like depth of field, and that it looks like film. It looks like cinema versus the traditional.
I bet Scorsese will love it.
So
this is cinema.
I'd probably give it a high Matthew McConaughey, low fanboy worthy, somewhere in there. It may crest into fanboy worthy. We'll see upon rewatch if I feel
the
same. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what you guys think when you watch it. So.
Sweet.